What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV coming to you from London, England with the 35 best things to do. First up, here we are at the London markets. And some of the best markets are going to be the Borough Market. You also have the Maltby Street Market. You have Market Hall at Oxford Street. And then you have the Camden Market and many more. Now here we are at the Shard. This impressive skyscraper towers above London. It really stands out. And here at the Shard, you can visit restaurants, bars, also go to the galleries. They have Gong, which is a bar on the 52nd floor. That's the highest bar in Europe, actually. And now here we are at Picadilly Circus. This is actually a famous place with young people. It's more popular. It's known for the neon lights and entertainment with the iconic landmarks like the Arrows Fountain. You can find cinemas, theaters, shops, restaurants, all of that down here. It's kind of considered the heart of London, or I guess you could say it's located in the heart of London. And now here we are at the London Eye. They have standard tickets for £32, or you could get the fast track tickets for $51 for adults. It's a bit cheaper for kids. There is 32 pods, and it takes about 30 minutes to do the ride. You can see 360-degree views of the House of Parliament, Buckingham Palace, and Windsor Castle, located right along the Thames River. Now here we are at the Sky Garden. This is another high-rise building that you can go up to. You can see it looks like a garden with great views. And this is on the 43rd floor of the Walkie Talkie building. It's a lush urban jungle here in the UK with open air terrace with views across the Thames. There is no fee to enter, but you do need to book a 90-minute slot in advance. At the restaurant, and you can book 3 weeks in advance, there is no official dress code, but they say smart or casual dress code is recommended for evening bookings. The views at sunset are considered the best. If you're trying to avoid the crowds, try to get the very first time slot that it's available. They do have security here that is similar to what you would find at an airport with metal detectors and bag x-rays, and they don't have a storage on site, so keep that in mind when arriving with bags. Heading back down to ground level, here we are at the Tower Bridge. Built in the late 1800s, it was completed in 1894. The bridge was constructed using 11,000 tons of steel, Cornish granite, and Portland stone. There are lifts that lift vertically, and that allows ships to pass, so it's not a drawbridge. They also have glass walkways, and you can access the 43-meter glass walkways for panoramic views of the city. They also have an engine room, and it's rich in history because it actually crosses the Thames River towards the London Tower, which was built in the 11th century. Built by William the Conqueror in the 1070s as a fortress and royal palace, this was also where they protected the crown jewels for 700 years. Amazingly, it managed to survive World War II, and now it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And this unique looking structure is actually the City Hall of London. It opened in July 2002. And this is just a cool looking structure for you to take a picture of while exploring the city. Now here we are at the HMS Belfast. This is for you military types out there. You'll maybe want to do a tour of this here ship. That is a light cruiser for the Royal Navy turned into a museum. And here's a famous landmark. This is known as the Elizabeth Tower, also called Big Ben. It's a big clock tower, and you'll see it right next to Westminster Abbey. For most of you, just crossing the bridge and taking a picture is enough, but if you wanted to go up to the top, you can. On a guided tour, it's 334 steps to the belfry where Big Ben hangs. You must be 11 years old to go. And you can take a look at the Westminster area here. This is an official government building, and you can get a tour of the Westminster area or Westminster Abbey and check out the church in the area. Guided tours are available, tickets are required. And here we are at the River Thames. You can actually take a cruise, you can visit museums, you can do a boat tour, which it comes with commentary and food, some dancing on board. You can also do it by speedboat. So lots of activities to do along the Thames here. You can actually take a boat all the way to the Thames estuary, and you'll see it pours into the North Sea in southeast England. From here, you're not too far away from the Netherlands. Now here we are at the Emirates Cable Car. You can actually take it from the Royal Docks all the way over to Greenwich Peninsula, and it costs about £10. And in case you're wondering, one Great British pound equals $1.26 USD. Now here we are at the London Underground, also known as the Tube. It was opened in 1863 as the Metropolitan Railway, and it was the first underground railway in the world. It gets its name because it's got a bunch of tunnels. That's why they call it the Tube. There's 272 stations and 408 kilometers of tracks. And it carries up to 5 million passengers per day. Now here we are at St. James Park. It is the oldest royal park, and it's at the heart of the ceremonial London. And guess what? It's right next to Buckingham Palace. There are 775 rooms here, including 52 bedrooms, 19 staterooms, and 78 bathrooms. There's over 760 windows and 1,514 doors. It was originally built in 1703. And as we continue to show you around London, please do consider subscribing and liking the video. Also check the comments below. We have some other Europe tours like Paris. But from Buckingham Palace, where you can see these guards, we're headed over to the O2 Arena, home to the world's most popular music, sport, comedy, and entertainment. Also, they have Icon Outlet, climb up at the O2, enjoy cinema. They have trampolines, so lots to do here at O2 Arena. So consider getting some tickets to whatever event is in town. Now here we are at the Millenium Bridge. This is a footbridge that goes across the Thames. Get a chance, do it. It's good exercise too. Now here we are at the Tate Britain. This is a network of 4 art museums in the UK, housed to the National Collection of British and International Modern and Contemporary Art. And now here we are at Oxford Circus. This is famous for shopping, dining, and architecture. Actually, it's Europe's busiest shopping street. It has hundreds of shops. Also, you may know of Regent Street. Right here is the intersection. Regent Street is famous for its Christmas decorations. You know, a lot of people ask, when is the best time to visit London? Well, in the wintertime, they have a very festive environment with Christmas. A lot of people want to come here for Christmas time, but people also don't want to deal with the cold temperatures, so they come in the summertime. So any time is a good time to visit London. And now here we are at Hyde Park. This is the most famous London Royal Park, covering 142 hectares. And the park stretches from Kensington Palace all the way to Buckingham. So it is quite the big park. Now here we are at Kensington Palace, one of 3 main palaces here in London. Now here we are at the Royal Albert Hall, which is famous for concerts, music venues here in London, named after Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Albert. Now here we are at St. Paul's Cathedral, formerly called the Cathedral Church of St. Paul the Apostle. It's an Anglican cathedral here in London, and very famous. You could see by the architecture. You've got to come over here if you want to see the best religious monuments in London. I would say St. Paul's Cathedral has got to be one of them. Construction began in 1666, and it took 35 years to complete, so it's quite the old cathedral. Now let's talk about food. This here is an English breakfast. Typically comes with mushrooms, tomatoes, sausage, bacon, and eggs. Also, you have sandwiches that are very famous here, stewed meats. You have meat pies. You've got to try a meat pie, vegetable, and other broths. You also have fish and chips, which is basically fried or breaded fish with French fries. So lots of food options for you to discover here in the UK. Now let's talk about tea time. As you know, English breakfast tea is world famous, comes from Sri Lanka, but here in England it's got the name. They got Earl Grey and so many different tea houses. Remember, tea and crumpets. English breakfast tea was introduced to the British during the years of the spice and herb trade. And while in London, you can check out Chelsea, the football club, or you could even check out Arsenal. There's 2 different football teams here in the London area, but definitely getting out to a soccer or football game due to the incredible popularity of the sport in the country. Now here we are at Chinatown. As with many big cities in the world, there is one here in London. You can check out Chinatown. Also riding the double-decker bus. So riding these double-decker buses over the Tower Bridge, or maybe going towards the Elizabeth Tower, Big Ben, getting some good shots, good angles. really nostalgic feeling. Now here we are at the British Museum. This was the most impressive historical museum I've ever been to in terms of objects. They have over 8 million from around the world, originally opened in 1753. This place is really amazing for people who like to discover world history. And it's free. Now here we are at the Natural History Museum, and the ticket price is £7.95. Lots to see here, including a giant whale skeleton and some dinosaur skeletons throughout the museum. The British Museum focuses on human history, whereas the Natural History Museum focuses more on the development of the planet, including mammals and other animals. And now we're actually going to head over to the London Zoo. Believe it or not, they do have a zoo here in London where they have gorillas and other animals. Adult tickets are £33 on standard days and £29 on off-peak weekdays. Children are £23 per person. And there are many museums across London, as you can see, including a Ripley's, believe it or not, which is in many big cities across the world. London does have 200 museums, 11 national museums. 115 of those museums are actually free to visit, so that's a good thing. We're also here at Trafaglar Square in the city of Westminster, central London, established in the early 19th century, and it was named after the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. And on the outskirts of London is the Windsor Castle, known as the Royal Residence of Windsor, which is the royal family's last name. It's about 25 miles west of central London, and it's strongly associated with the English succeeding British royal family. As you can see, there's so much to see and do in London. Hope you guys enjoy your trip to the big city here in the UK, and we'll see you on the next one from Paris by clicking the link next.